Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Critical Role, and we're going to talk about a recent statement that Matthew Mercer said on Todd Kenreck's channel, right? Todd Kenreck, boy, that guy's fascinating. The most on again, off again coverage for Dungeons and Dragons ever. So he covered D&D directly for them, then he was off, then he was on, then he was off. So, but it's really wild because like even when he's off, he's still covering D&D very directly because he's got a lot of friendships, right? So, so Matthew Mercer goes on his show, and I am fascinated by Critical Role. The reason why is I am fascinated by the question, what is Dungeons and Dragons? I believe I will spend my entire life attempting to answer that question. And I think that a huge part of that answer is now Critical Role, because Dungeons and Dragons is Critical Role now. Critical Role is Dungeons and Dragons. And when you attach yourself to Dungeons and Dragons, its amorphous, complex nature attaches to you, right? And so, okay. So simultaneously, I believe that the Dungeons & Dragons community has massive debt to Critical Role, right? Because they've just done so much for Dungeons & Dragons. In 10 years, they've literally catapulted Dungeons & Dragons to a new peak, okay? But at the same time, I'm extremely skeptical of Critical Role, because I just believe they're selling a fantasy to the critter community. And many of the things they say are just divorced from reality. Okay, so Matthew Mercer goes on. So let's get into this. Matthew Mercer goes on Todd Kenreck's show, and he says, "We work very hard, the whole team, because we know how blessed we are." Okay, that last part is a paraphrase, right? But he said, we work very hard, right? The whole team, right? And I had to make this video. BS. Critical Role does not work hard. They do not. Certainly not the whole team, right? Like, and okay, you're like, wait a second, Scott. Those guys do work hard. No, they don't. And this is my issue. Okay, let's get into this. All right. Why would I say such a thing, right? Because, okay, all right, Critical Role, you guys are the number one D&D, live action in the world. You have that title, right? Critical Role has that title. They've accomplished that, right? They have so much. They have many, many achievements that other live action plays they're not light years close to what they've made. There's no other live action play that has multiple Amazon Prime shows about them, it doesn't exist, right? Like, they are way out ahead. They're the number one live action play in the world, right? So, so logically, what he just said should be true, but it's not. It is not, right? And here's my kicker. This gets me, right? Because I have the same issue with Chris Stuckman. I get very itchy when the number one slot is getting there without doing the work. And I just feel like Critical Role has not done the work. Okay, you're like, so he's saying we work very hard, right? The whole team. No, absolutely not. It's a lemonade stand. It is a lemonade stand. It's literally a side hustle. It's not even their main gig, right? None of them care about this that much. It is not even that, it's not that big a deal, right? It's literally a side hustle, right? It's like you doing a garage sale, right? This is not your main passion. Their main passions are their voice work, right? And even going beyond their voice work and actually getting booked for real Hollywood gigs. Not a single member of Critical Role has quit their day job. Not one of them. Not one of them has dedicated themselves to being the number one live action play in the world for Dungeons and Dragons, right? So it's hard for me to sit back and go, oh yeah, you guys work really hard. No, you do not take it seriously. And you're like, well, wait, well, that's a little harsh to say. Here's my issue, right? I follow the tabletop role-playing game scene very closely. Actually, I don't care about OSR and indie, right? What do I care about? I care about Dungeons and Dragons. In order to understand Dungeons and Dragons, I have to understand its competition, right? So I pay very close. Like, I know a ridiculous amount of information about Kelsey Dion and her game Shadow Dark. Like I've pages and pages of notes to understand this stuff, right? And the reality, and I could tell you right now, this is my entire point. There are 2, 3, 4, 5 dozen OSR and indie creators who, when they say they are working hard, that is an extreme reality. They're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week all year long. Some without vacations, some making sacrifices that are immense, right? For a fraction of the success, right? And I will say, and this, so I am galled by the idea that Matthew Mercer would claim that the Critical Role, especially the co-founders, are working hard on Critical Role, right? Are working hard on their projects, right? It's ludicrous. It is, and especially Daggerheart, right? Like this is something that it's an opportunity they chose to seize. That thing's been shattered on the ground, right? Like they're not doing the hard work. Like when it came time to do the hard work to put Daggerheart across the finish line, right? To do what it was created to do, they quit, right? And this is my entire point. Now, okay, so I find it galling for Matthew Mercer to say they work hard on Critical Role. It's a side hustle. You do not even give it the majority of your time, right? Like, it's like, come on, right? Like, it's not even your main and I think I might be okay with this if even a single one of the Critical Role people were like, well, now this is a real thing, one of us should take it seriously. Even the CEO is a part-timer. The CEO is a part-timer, right? Like, Travis Willingham hasn't given up his voice work. Even the chief executive officer role is a part-timer, right? And it's hard for me to accept this when there are people who are, when they say they're working hard, they really are, right? They're putting it all in, right? Like, DC has a great line of comics right now. It's called All In, right? Not a single Critical Role co-founder is all in. They're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Always have been, right? Now, before I end this video, I have to say, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. One cheek in the whole thing. Still crushed every competitor, right? Like, didn't even have to give their full attention to become the #1 live action in the world. There's something there, right? They simultaneously frustrate me and fascinate me. They are, and I'm not saying they suck. They don't. They're incredible, right? Like, in fact, they're so talented that their one-cheeked effort has literally outperformed every other competitor they have, right? They've been able to beat all competitors with just a fraction of their energy. Okay? That's incredible. That's incredible. But it's also galling. It's galling to hear Matthew Mercer claim they're working hard. It's a lemonade stand, man. Like, just walking out on a Saturday morning with, the Kool-Aid your mom made. Like, it's not. They don't take it seriously. They do not take it seriously. Not one of them has ever taken it serious. It's a side hustle, right? And then it's on us, the D&D community, to also say, hey, we gave the #1 slot in the world to people who don't even really care that much about us, right? Like, that's on us. We got to figure that out. Why did we do that, right? It's fascinating. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.